I might need them.
I'm here. That's what the clerk.
Recording in
That's the clerk's job.
progress.
It's the clerk's job. There it is.
Good evening and Happy New Year, and welcome to the January 7th, 2026 Yarmouth Planning Board meeting. I am Joanne Crowley, the chair. The public is welcome to attend in person this evening or via alternative public access provided on the notice of meeting available in the Town of Yarmouth website. I will begin by taking roll call. Susan Britta.
Here.
Deirdre Gaquin.
Here.
Tom Pendleton.
Here.
Will Rubenstein.
Here.
Peter Slovak.
Here.
Ken Smith.
Here.
Joanne Crowley present. Seeing that we have a quorum present, I'll now call the meeting to order, and I would like to ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to make a preliminary announcement for those of you who may be joining us virtually. We have been requested to postpone and have a continuance of the public hearing section of this meeting this evening, which was the second item on our agenda. So I thought I would let you know that we won't be doing that until our following meeting, right, Kath?
Yeah, the January 21st meeting at 5:30, and you guys will take a formal vote of that under that agenda item.
Okay, it's for the continuance.
For the continuance to the January 21st Planning Board meeting, 5:30, Town Hall hearing room, and by same exact remote
Great.
access.
Okay, thank you. So the first item on our agenda this evening is the approval not required for Plan Number 2487L. This request is from Thomas A. Grew Jr., 353 Weir Road, Yarmouth Port, Mass., Assessor Map 126, Parcel 42.1.1, located in the R40 and APD zoning districts. The A&R creates a non-buildable lot from a portion of 353 Weir Road for conveyance purposes. John Demarest, I believe, is here. Kathy, right? Hi, John, welcome. From Demarest Land Surveying. He is here this evening representing Mr. Grew on this request, and will present the application for endorsement of this A&R. So please join us.
When should I go to?
Yeah. No, you can do it right here. Sure.
Good evening. Again, my name is John Demarest from Demarest Land Surveying, representing Tom Grew. What we have here, again, is a basic lot that was created in 2013, which we've cut another lot out of that is strictly for conveyance purposes. The original lot is left with enough square footage, frontage, and shape number to make that a conforming lot. And as stated in the notes on the plan, lot number 6 is not considered a buildable lot.
Okay, thank you. Kathy, would you like to run through your comments on your planner memo?
I didn't have any issues with it, and I recommended that you guys endorse the A&R.
Any questions, issues from board members? Okay, so,
Simply for conveyance sake, correct?
The back lot, lot number 6, yes. Yep. It doesn't have adequate frontage anyway. It's not considered a buildable lot.
Okay.
so may I have a motion to endorse A&R Plan 2487L, prepared by Demarest Land Surveying and dated December 30th, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed unanimously. Thank you for coming.
You have a good
We appreciate it,
evening.
Mr. Demarest.
I forgot to bring the Mylar. If you guys want to start the next one, I'll go get the Mylar, and then you can
Okay.
sign it, and John can take it with him. Awesome. All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Have a good evening.
Hi.
Bye.
So Kathy, do I need to read the public notice, or I need to do the?
You need to open the public hearing
Okay.
officially.
Second item on our plan this evening is the public hearing, definitive subdivision plan 16488H, modification 2. I would now like to open this public hearing of the planning board regarding Brian D. Basler, trustee of the Brian D. Basler Living Trust, and Marcy L. Basler, trustee of the Marcy L. Basler Living Trust, for property located at 63 Thatcher Shore Road, Yarmouth Port, Assessors Map 122, parcel 24.1, located in the R40 zoning district. I note the time as 7:37, 5:37. Following the protocol for public hearings, I'll first read into the public record the public hearing notice that was published in the Cape Cod Times on December 23rd and the 30th of 2025, and mailed to abutters on December 19th, 2025. In accordance with the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 41, Sections 81T and 81U, the Yarmouth Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, January 7th, 2026, at 5:30 PM in the hearing room of the Yarmouth Town Offices, 1146 Route 28, South Yarmouth, Mass. 02664, and via remote access at the website, on the town website, via telephone at 301-715-8592, and entering webinar ID 898-3641-5124 to consider the following. Definitive subdivision number 1648H, modification 2. Owners and applicants: Brian D. Basler, trustee of the Brian D. Basler Living Trust, and Marcy L. Basler, trustee of the Marcy L. Basler Living Trust, 46 Minnetoxet Way, Yarmouth Port, Mass. Property location 63 Thatcher Shore Road, Yarmouth Port, Mass. Assessors Map 122, parcel 24.1, zoning district R40 residential. The applicant is seeking approval for modifications to the previously approved definitive subdivision 1648H and 1648H modification 1. The requested modifications include increasing the maximum centerline grade, reducing the roadway cross slope, eliminating the drainage swales in favor of vegetated shoulders, and allowing for a drill hole set in a rock to serve as a boundary monument. The proposed modifications are shown in the plans entitled Definitive Subdivision Plan of Land in Yarmouth Port, Mass., prepared for Brian Sullivan Realty Trust, dated May 5th, 2017, and last revised on October 3rd, 2025, and roadway as-built plan of 63 Thatcher Shore Road, Yarmouth Port, Mass., prepared for Brian Basler, dated October 15th, 2024, and last revised on June 30th, 2025. All plans are prepared by Daniel Ojala, PEPLS of Down Cape Engineering of Yarmouth Port, Mass. The requested modifications do not change the roadway layout or the dimensions of the single lot created by the original subdivision plan 1648H. Copies of the plans and application materials are on file with the Planning Board and may be inspected Monday through Friday between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. in the Planning Division Office of the Yarmouth Town Offices and on the Town of Yarmouth website. Any person wishing to be heard on this matter should appear at the time and place designated above. Written comments will be accepted and should be directed to the Planning Board, care of Kathy Williams, Town Planner, at kwilliams@yarmouth.ma.us, no later than January 6, 2026, at 5 p.m. Joanne Crowley, Chair, Yarmouth Planning Board.
So we did receive this afternoon an email from Priscilla Leclerc from Down Cape Engineering indicating that Down Cape Engineering respectfully requests a continuance to the January 21st Planning Board meeting for tonight's agenda item, definitive subdivision 1648H, modification 2 for 63 Thatcher Shore. Daniel Ojala is not well today and will not be able to attend this evening. So they're formally requesting a continuance of this hearing to January 21st.
So Kathy, we need to have a motion.
You need a motion to continue the public hearing for definitive subdivision 1648H, modification number 2, to the planning board meeting on January 21st, 2026, at 5:30 PM in the Town Hall hearing room and via remote access.
So moved.
Second.
No, are you moving it?
Yes.
You made it too easy.
May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
No, no.
Oh, not
no,
yet.
No.
Oh,
We're not
it
closing,
remains
We're
open.
continuing it,
Vote.
yeah.
We have to vote first,
You
Madam
need to
Chair.
vote to just continue the hearing. That's
I'm
all you need to
sorry.
do.
That was a
I
motion and a
apologize.
second to vote on the continuance.
Continuance.
I got it. Okay, may I have a vote on the continuance? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're not closing.
No, no.
No. Sorry about that. This was a newbie for me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll learn. So moving on, we'll just go to the regular part of our agenda here. And we have some meeting minutes we need to approve.
You want to talk about Matikes first, or?
Oh, I'm sorry, Kathy. Yes, let's do Matikes.
The Muck is having a meeting tomorrow night in Conference Room A and via remote access, and we have 5 conceptual designs that we're going to be looking at that show a little bit more detail with regard to how specific buildings of the correct size and the amount of parking that we need and the different fields would be laid out. The 5 scenarios take into consideration really what the land use teams, as well as the survey and the community meeting, and then the update with the select board of really emphasizing a sports complex and how could we lay that out in different configurations on the site, along with housing from the housing land use committee as well, and then also preserving open space, and then, of course, having at least one that had an identification of an area for continuing with a school, should that be necessary. So they're online as part of the packet for the meeting if people want to look at it, and they're certainly welcome to tune in to the meeting tomorrow night, just kind of get an idea of what's being proposed. This is the first time the Muck's seen it, so they're going to be looking and having comments on it. We may need to have a supplemental meeting before giving a presentation to the Select Board at the February 3rd Select Board meeting, with the goal of getting their input and then making any revisions necessary, and then going out to the public and having a community meeting on February 25th. And then once we get that input from the public, then the Muck would kind of take that information, compile a report, and their recommendations to the Select Board, and then they would give a presentation to the Select Board, a date to be determined. But then the Muck would kind of be done at that point, and then the next phase would be going in using the Mass Development Grant that we have and starting to look at the more financial feasibility of a sports complex, looking at things like doing a survey, a real resource boundary mapping out there, doing some traffic analysis so we can see what we might need to do to mitigate that, looking at the sewer a little bit more detailed, and also looking at the zoning. Because right now it's residentially zoned, and a sports complex and the level of housing that we're talking about are not things that would be necessary. That's something that we would be getting help with through the Mass Development Grant. We have a meeting on Friday to talk about that with Mass Development. But the grant was put in with BSC Group doing that work, as well as Camoin doing the actual feasibility analysis. They're the same people who did our diff, but we haven't finalized who's going to be doing the work. They have their consultants. It's not something that we have to procure through the Mass Development. They have the consultants that they typically work with on these types of things. So lots of things are going to be happening with the Muck. There's lots of good information on the plans. And I certainly encourage anyone to take a look at it, and certainly tune in to the Select Board presentation on the 3rd, and they'll find out more about that, and then certainly come to the community meeting on the 25th of February.
Madam Chair,
Thank you. Yes.
ask a question.
Yeah, Mr. Rubenstein.
When do you anticipate the Muck coming to us, if at all?
I don't believe the Muck would be coming to the planning board specifically to present anything. I think this is a case where the select board will also need to, when they get the final report, give some direction as to what they're interested in. I think we're going to get our marching orders with regard to sports complex, increased housing density, in order to allow for what we're looking at. Right now, I think it's zoned for one lot per 40,000 square feet, and obviously that's not a super efficient use of land.
So it's fair to say there'll be a zoning board hearing.
Yes.
down the road.
Oh, yes.
But it's not something that's coming here for any discussion or vote.
No.
Okay. I just wanted to check in on it because it's been working, it's been mucking for a year. And I just wasn't sure if it was ever going to intersect with us formally, and it's not, it sounds like.
I don't know, from a regulatory point of view,
No.
there aren't any permits
so.
that we would be involved in there, I don't think.
No, but you're certainly welcome to comment, and, you know, I can certainly, when we get closer, I could give a presentation of kind of what they're doing, but I would definitely suggest tuning into the February 3rd meeting, because you're going to get a lot of that information at that particular meeting.
Thank you.
So now, can we talk about meeting minutes? Before we begin, let's see, I had comments on one of them. Oh, it's way in the back, okay. May I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes of October 15th?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain, I was not present.
Okay. May I have a
I wasn't a member
We're
of the
not on
board.
the board.
oh, you want the board, yeah, there you go. May I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes of November 5th, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
May I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes of December 3rd, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? I have one comment, Kathy, on this one with regard to the library discussion. At the bottom of page 1, and it may be just my interpretation or memory of it, I thought we actually talked about, you know, the visibility from Route 28, not necessarily just its context. I did not go back and check the video.
We did talk about
I
that.
thought, but I thought the visibility was important.
So maybe we could just say,
What I suggested was, its visibility from Route 28, and strike how it fits within the context of.
Where are you, Joanne?
On page 1,
Last couple
of the
lines.
very, very bottom,
bottom.
Susan, last line.
Okay.
so it would read, the overall look of the building, comma, visibility from Route 28, and then it goes to the next
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
And it should be surrounding, on the next page, Kath, surrounding civic substructures, right? Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So approved, great. Committee updates. Can we start with you, Mr. Smith? Any committee updates?
Sure, Madam Chair. Attended my first RAC meeting, and it was interesting, you know, get back up to speed on it. Just a quick update where all the projects are at. The plant itself on Buck Island, base elevation is set and soil anchors are done. They're in the process right now of framework and forming rebar and pouring concrete for the foundation. They have revised the completion date from September 2027 to January 2028. Well, that being said, that will be the earliest the plant can go online. But running through the contracts, just so everybody knows where we're at. Contract 2, which is the work on Route 28, is completed. Final paving on 28 was completed on October 31st. Paving on Old Main Street and local roads has also been completed. Work at the pump station, that's the one next to the CVS and the Pancake Man. The foundation is being poured, and they'll be bringing in a prefab building in the, later in January, early February to set that, so that's gonna move right along once they set that. Contract 3, which is Rivoli's contract on South Shore Drive and portions of Route 28, that all excavation work has been suspended pending a decision on how to proceed. A meeting was held between the town and Rivoli on December 17th. Contract 4, which is Route 28 North Main Street intersection, is complete. And now west of Parkers River, Contract 5, Route 28 from Parkers River to Higgins Kroll, work is resumed on Route 28 with the installation of a main line and service laterals, and a second crew is being brought in. They actually started today on Joshua Baker Road in West Yarmouth. And then Contract 6, which is Route 28 from Higgins Kroll west to the Barnstable line, has revised plans have been completed, which includes the pump stations and the new locations. Bids were received on December 18th, with Robert Auer being the lowest bidder at $19.3 million. So the project is moving along, maybe in some spots a month or two behind pace, but I think if we have get out of winter sooner than later and have a decent spring, we'll catch right back up. So it's good to see.
Thank you. Peter Slovak?
I don't think I have anything. Do we have a design
Site-
committee
We
review?
already talked about the 645 one, right?
Yeah,
We did that at the last meeting, right?
I think so. I
Yeah,
can't-
I think we did. Okay.
No, we had that, actually, we had the design review committee meeting on the 13th.
But
So we
you,
talked about,
in our phone call today, Kathy, you asked me to remind you to talk about 645.
yeah, I'll talk about it in staff updates.
Good,
That
okay.
was the VCO,
Great.
he came here to us, right?
645 went to design review on December 13th.
Yep.
It went to site plan review team on the 6th of January. There was some comments, and we'll talk about some of the issues later, but ultimately, they will be coming, making any edits that they want, and then coming to the planning board for BCOD site plan review. And then any relief that they need, they would go to the zoning board of appeals. But thank you, Joanne.
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
My official update is that the CEDC will be reforming, hopefully in early to mid-February. But there has been a call for anyone from the public that would like to become a member, so that we can get to 5, so that we can start our meetings, restart our meetings. So hopefully that will happen in the next 30 days or so. Thank you.
Susan?
I don't have no updates, but I do have a question to Ken.
Sure.
How is the budget going with the,
Right now, as we stand right now, we're on budget. If some of the unforeseen situations, like having to take some of the water up to Bayberry, is certainly going to curtail what they originally thought from budget. They're going to be coming for some more money. So it's really that
so
simple.
far, no
No,
surprises?
as a matter of
Okay.
fact, like I had mentioned, the $19.3 million bid that came in actually is less than what originally was proposed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Deirdre?
I'm sorry, could I just ask a question, Susan? The library building committee submitted their application,
Yeah, December 31st.
and, okay. And so when might you hear from them? Do you have?
Up to the state, but I think state does have a time frame. I just don't know what it is, because we then have to pick it up and
late.
continue.
Probably,
It's
they're gonna
later.
be asking a lot of questions between now and when they issue a
March,
final.
isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
probably
March.
after the 31st anyway, but before March,
Because the goal is to go at annual town meeting and
May.
request for some
right,
money from the town meeting. Yeah.
right. Once MBLC gives them the approval, then this town has a month to sign a contract.
Thank
So
you.
we gotta go to town meeting quickly.
Do we have a date yet for town meeting? They said it-
Typically the last Tuesday in April.
There is a date, I don't remember what it
Because
is.
Did they vote on it? It's the 28th. I think April 28th is the
Because I
last
went to the
Tuesday.
website and it hasn't been posted
Did they vote
yet.
on it last night, Kathy? I didn't finish the meeting.
I got all kinds of schedules.
It is April 28th is the
April
last
28th.
Tuesday.
Okay.
But I don't know if they've actually officially voted on it yet. But they will have a meeting next week.
Harder.
They will have a meeting next week.
Okay.
Deirdre?
We have not had any more community housing committee meetings, but we had a small meeting in December with remotely with the Donahue people about the short-term rental report. They're going to be revising it and resubmitting, I think very soon. I think they said in January or February. And then another meeting, I did not attend, a brief site visit at the site for Habitat over on Wood Road. That was Monday this week. And that's moving along. And we'll be meeting next week, and I don't have anything else really new to report. Did you have anything more?
Yeah, the short-term
Yeah, how
rental
is that?
site, UMass Donahue is going to be presenting the edited draft January 20th to the Affordable Housing Trust.
Okay.
I believe that's at 10 o'clock in room A. And then there is the presentation to the Select Board on February 10th, which is what they were hoping to be like a joint meeting where they would present to the Select Board and to the Planning Board, and hopefully the Select Board let you guys ask questions as well. I think that's a meeting that I would actually post as a meeting for you guys, unless you don't have quorum or we can't get quorum, but that would be a good idea, because ultimately it's going to turn to you guys and to us in order to see what we need to make, if we need to make any changes. We did submit to the DLTA grant, like $15,000, to see if we can't follow through with looking a little bit more in depth with some of the ideas that came out of the UMass Donahue short-term rental study, which I think would be helpful and might help us to see what we need to do or not need to do come
When are
fall
we
time
likely
meeting.
to hear about that grant?
I thought, when I talked to Megan about it, I thought it was going to be fairly quickly in January sometime, because all the work needs to be done by December 31st, so they can't wait too long and do it.
What would that grant cover again? What would that?
I think it was taking a look at more detail what the study and see what holes might need to be filled and what we might need to do very specifically for the town of Yarmouth.
Kathy, can I
Who's
add?
going to decide what holes need to be filled?
I think you guys can help with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I know that you've been very good about coming up with different ideas about things, and you sent some good information today about the impact fees, so about what communities actually do an impact. We've maxed out the excise tax, but there is the ability to do a community impact fee, but it's a case where it's very limited to who it would apply to. It applies to professionally managed units, which is one of two or more short-term rental units in the same town operated by the same owner and not located within a single 2 or 3 family dwelling that includes the operator's primary residence. And 2 applies to those short-term rentals in 2 or 3 family dwellings that include the operator's primary residence. I'm not sure how many people that actually applies to, but Peter had some good information. There's some towns in the Outer Cape, but then Falmouth also has done it, and it sounds like you said Dennis had recently passed it, and it's up to 3% of that. So we're already at like 14.45%, so we'll go up to 17.45%. You don't have to do the full 3 for these specific. I don't know how they're tracking these and how they know who should be paying this and who is, and how it gets paid. So there would be more research that would need to go into that. But the short-term rental study from UMass Donahue mentions it just as an idea and says that Yarmouth doesn't do it, but it doesn't include it as a recommendation of something that we should be doing or strategy that we should be looking at implement.
Does the town know, they must know, or do you know how much of the, because the state website there will tell us, the OR website will tell us exactly how much of the lodging tax comes back to Yarmouth.
Yes.
But it doesn't break it out, hotel versus short-term rental.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that,
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that that's one thing that got included in the update from the UMass Donahue is they're going to include the, like the last 4 years or something of that tax. In both the hotels, because I think the question was, as the short-term rental taxes are going up, has the motel room taxes gone down? And that's exactly what has happened.
that actually came up at the Board of Select meeting the night the library made their presentation. They were doing something, there was some presentation prior to that about housing, and I think the finance director was gonna find those exact numbers, because it was asked that night, no one really knew what an actual number, they knew the breakdown, but they didn't know the dollar amount, so they're gonna be tracking that. Kathy, I have one question. Is there anything in the study that is going to take into account this new state proposal for seasonal communities and crosswalk that, what that requires versus short-term, and including in the short-term rentals? Is there going to be any impact on that? I think there will be. I just don't know if,
I don't think think the seasonal communities requires you to do anything like restricting your short-term rentals.
No,
per
it doesn't,
se.
but it opens up a lot of other opportunities, and I don't,
Some funding sources, which is good. Yeah, and it also requires us, obviously, to do some zoning changes as
Right,
well,
right.
in a certain period of time.
is there any thought of evaluating the impact of, if this town does decide to do the seasonal community, impact on that designation and what we're doing now with short-term rentals? Will there be an impact?
I guess
don't
I'm
know,
not seeing,
yeah.
I'm not.
I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah. I'm not really seeing the correlation necessarily.
I think they're very much correlated.
I think it gets back to our key issue of seasonal communities. What they're really doing is trying to promote year-round housing, and what we're looking at is, do short-term rentals impact the number of year-round housing? I think Joanne had a good question. What's that number? If we make this stricter with regard to short-term rentals, what are we really opening up for people with regard to housing? I don't think we've ever gotten a good answer with regard to Peter's question about what are the assessed values of these short-term rentals? Are they things that are low enough so that they might have been first-time home buyers, or are they more expensive, closer to the water, and it really wasn't going to be something that first-time homeowners were going to be doing? And also, I think a lot of it is also the big bulk of the seasonal communities, seasonal housing, is if you make it stricter and stricter, you're going to take some of those people who might have rented it out a little bit to make some money, and then they'll just stop renting it out. So I don't think you're going to change the percentage of seasonal housing units by doing that, because it sounded like a lot of our seasonal was not related to these operators who are coming in as a commercial endeavor. It really is people who use it part-time, year-round, and then they short-term rental it for the height of the months of the summer to get the money, and then they plan on ultimately retiring here. I think that's the vast majority of it.
We don't know that.
We don't know that, no, but based on the information that they were providing, it doesn't look like there's a huge
Yeah,
commercial.
but they don't know that either, because they haven't done the analysis. They haven't looked to say, there are plenty of houses, and I know because you can look at the addresses, and they're only occupied when short-term renters are there, So I don't know what the number is. Nobody knows what the numbers are unless they do
The
the.
problem is getting the numbers. It's very difficult to get accurate numbers.
We're also trying to narrow that focus to really what is the market that would be affordable to somebody that wants to put their family in the house. Whatever that number is, we can look at the median assessed value. We talked about that, so to sort of narrow the focus, but.
Yeah. I don't know how much additional information UMass Donahue's going to be able to do under their
No.
current.
Madam Chair, can I have a follow-up
Yes.
on that? Wasn't there an announcement right before New Year's that Yarmouth had been designated
We are
a
designated.
seasonal community? But we have to have a discussion and we have to vote on it. Invited.
Right.
So can you just quickly talk about what happens next, please?
Well, I think the select board need to talk about it.
Well, I'm just asking
And
and just
decide
to-
whether that's something and get more information about it.
I
That is
see.
also another thing that we asked for DLTA funding for, was to just summarize all of that. What are all the obligations, or what are all the benefits associated with seasonal community designation? But it requires, obviously, the select board to want to do it, and then also requires a town meeting vote. And then within 18 months, we need to pass the zoning, and I
Right.
think if you don't pass the zoning, I think you get your designation yanked, because it's hat in hand, the two of them together.
They also
Thank
invited
you.
quite a few towns.
Right.
No, I know, I saw,
right?
no,
You're
no, I
right.
saw.
So, I mean,
It was
it was
basically
there-
the rest of the Cape that didn't
Right.
get included from the beginning, initial wave. So there's
17 or
still
18.
much more to come on that subject.
Yes.
And including the select board saying to us, hey, planning board, you need to chew on this also. But not until they say so. Okay, I just wanted to understand the direction it was traveled and who the constituencies were before town meeting. Thank you.
Kathy, what changed between wave one and wave two? Because the first wave we did not qualify. It was based on a certain percentage of homes that were, and then all of a sudden,
I think the
no one mentioned that, and they said, oh, we're just gonna cover everything.
I think it was political. I know the Kip
No.
Diggs. I know the Kip Diggs was pushing for designation. and I think for
Julian's
all of-
here.
And Julian's here.
Yeah,
For not just Barnstable County, but I also think Berkshire County as well, that has a lot of seasonal.
the percentages were so close, like in our case, it was 1%
No,
below the cutoff.
it
and-
was 3%. We were 32, and I think 35 was the cutoff.
And I think they gave a bunch of criteria. Well, we would consider this for future designation. I think we kind of hit all of that. So I think They just looked at the different communities.
And the governor can, this didn't require an act of legislation. She changed this designation. She had the authority to add all of Barnstable County.
Yeah, and that's important to
That's
remember, because if we have a new governor, that designation can be changed. I think that was done kind of like the equivalent of like an executive order.
Yeah, and again, my one, while we're on the subject, but my one concern is that this opens up the tiny homes discussion and smaller lots.
Yep.
Right.
And they didn't get that in the first affordable housing,
Right.
the big Housing Act. And so now they've kind of backdoored it, and they have it now,
Yep.
if we choose to join,
There's lots of hurdles to go over.
if the town chooses to join.
Money talks, so.
That's right.
Give money to us
I
and.
mean, we have lots of tiny homes here in Yarmouth. When you think
Yeah,
about
they
it,
don't take
we
that
do.
into consideration.
When you think about it, we have a lot of homes that are under 1,000 square feet.
No, lots.
So, anyway. Who's next? Tom, anything committee-wise?
I was just appointed, but I don't have my first meeting until May, so I have nothing.
Okay, right. I have one. The CPC met on December 17th, and we approved funding for the Yarmouth Port Library replacement of their ADA ramp in the back. There was a fairly healthy discussion, and it related to their financials. As it turns out, the chair of that committee, of our committee, is very familiar with CPA and nonprofit 990 tax returns. And so when you apply for a CPA grant, you have to attach your 990 forms and stuff. And there was a significant change year over year recently for the Yarmouth Port Library, where its assets through investments more than doubled. So they went from a 1 million, I'll use a general number, around 1 million, 1.5 million on their profit and loss, to 3 million, and it was all located in investments. So maybe they owned NVIDIA stock and sold it or something. I don't know, but unfortunately, the folks who were representing couldn't give us a really good explanation as to what that bump was, and we felt that they should contribute more than what they asked for. So they had asked for 67,000 plus for it, and we deliberated. I had suggested a lower number, and we came in the middle at about, we approved $50,000 for it. So they will have to come up with the balance of it.
What was the total cost, do you remember?
What they had estimated, the bid that they had received, the high bid was at 67,
67.
and the low was at 40. I had suggested that it's the public sector, let's use the low bid. And other members felt that we should take an average, so that's where we landed on the 50. But for a nonprofit library, and I'm associated with a library association for South Yarmouth, a couple of $1 million isn't a lot of money, and they are running it themselves. They have no town support, so I felt like that wasn't good for them, but that doesn't make their job any easier trying to exist year to year. So, but it was a good discussion, and several members of the board attended. They had really good interest in it. So, anyway, that was CPC. We have on that subject. We have the annual report. We're having a public meeting on the January 28th. On the CPC is required to submit an annual to publicize and have a public hearing on the annual report, and that will be on January 28th. I've asked Kathy to get copies of it to all of you for our 21st meeting. If you could look at it and think about it, I'd like to bring comments back to the CPC from the planning board, not just me. And that's a little bit of a change. Typically, it's just been individual members, but I think it's important that we have a chance to all comment on it. So that will be on our agenda for the 21st. Correspondence and staff update, Kath?
I think we talked about a lot of the correspondence, I think, that I had sent around. But with regard to staff updates, I guess I wanted to talk a little bit about the VCOD project, 645 Route 28. It's basically a mixed-use project. It's like a block or two away from the Riverwalk Park on the same side. So it's a nice destination. People can easily walk up to a bunch of different places. It would be really nice. It has like 2 small commercial businesses on the first floor facing Route 28.
This is not the old Chinese restaurant site, is it? It is the Chinese restaurant site, okay.
I mean, old Chinese restaurant from what, 15, 20 years ago?
I've been here 50 years, so to me, it will always be the Chinese
It's been
restaurant
vacant
site.
since I've been here since
Forever,
2012.
oh yeah, long time.
But anyway, what we've been doing when people come with different projects, we always talk to them about the Mass DOT Corridor Improvement Project, which is taking a bunch of different strips of different people's properties, basically from the Parkers River westward all the way to the town line. As you all know, in the VCOD, which this project would be, we have a minimum front yard setback and a maximum front yard setback. And what we're finding on this particular property is that the strip is like 11 feet at one end, which is significant, especially when your minimum is 15 and your maximum is 25, because they're in a FEMA flood zone, down to 5 feet. So if they were to design the project right now to meet the minimum and maximum, when the Mass DOT project came through, they would be completely non-conforming, and their building would be fairly close to the shared use pathway. And I don't think that's necessarily what we were looking for, or what we wanted. The problem is with the Village Center Overlay District, we really set the minimum and the maximum. We kind of wanted people to adhere to that, because the idea was to keep the buildings closer to the road, create more of that village center feel. But unfortunately, the Mass DOT project is causing a bunch of other issues.
Kathy,
And
what-
it's required,
How much are they taking? Is it 10 feet?
they're taking 11 feet at Appleby, the western edge, and then it kind of, it's like a
No, I'm
narrows
talking
down.
about the state. The state, when they come down, is it 11 feet they're going to take all the way down 28?
No,
What
it
is it,
varies significantly by property. And this is the first property where we've really run into it being this significant in the VCOD, because remember, the VCOD is the only one that
Right.
has that maximum setback too, that you gotta have the building close. So right now, the VCOD is listed that if you can't meet the minimum and maximum, which is based on the existing property line, because they don't want to, they'd like to be further back and accommodate the Mass DOT, it's a variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals, which is harsh. So I guess what I would like to discuss with you guys is, we still, I think, have an opportunity to get a zoning article on annual town meeting. I'm not dying to cram through another zoning change, but something as simple as changing it from a variance to a special permit, and having like one of the criteria being related to whether you had impacted by a strip taking from a roadway project along Route 28. It'd be something simple. It would allow them to get, ask for relief from the ZBA via special permit, which I think they would get, because it makes sense as to what they're doing. The project overall, I think, Peter's seen it. It looks really good. They've done a good
Yeah.
job. But it's this big problem. It's kind of hanging out there.
Are there any other projects along 28? Do you think that that's going to impact? Right now, I think that's about the only one that's,
Well, we have another VCOD project coming at 703 Route 28. We have a design review committee meeting on next Tuesday, the 13th.
what's 703 Route 28?
It's the old, office supply store. It's right along the
Mr.
Park.
Pierce
Old Gardner Tile Building,
Yes, Gardner Tile. There's a flashback.
yeah.
What's going in there?
6 high-end condominiums.
Really?
Yep.
That'd
High
be a
up, did you
huge
say?
improvement to that site.
Yes.
That's,
Yeah.
I'm happy about
Walk to
that.
pizza.
Eric Tolley designed it. He did this, he was the same architect that did the 811 Route 28 project that you guys saw as a VCOD project like a year ago. It looks kind of like a boathousey. I think it looks it looks really good. Obviously, they have conservation things they need to go through, but a lot of it's already impacted, and they're going to be doing a bunch of things to kind of revegetate.
Is he aware of this situation?
With
I don't think
MassDOT.
it's severe at their particular site. I'll
You
double
don't think
check
we'll have
them.
an impact?
I
Okay.
think there's enough land there to do what they need to do,
I think so.
garden and tile building.
The other project, Kathy, that, the water park, that entire berm that they have out in front has to be pushed back.
Oh, no.
Because they're gonna extend
Into,
it,
they have a fence there, right?
right, but they're gonna extend it down, and when they're gonna extend the berm down and expand the park over to where the little, clam
Salties.
shack is now.
Salters used to be.
Salters.
But I thought, that Pete, I thought the taking was on the other side of the street.
It varies back and forth, and
a good-
the right-of-way varies the right-of-way actually in front of the reason it's 5 feet is the the right-of-way widens at that side. If it didn't, it would be an 11-foot strip all the way along, but for some reason, it gets wider just east of that property. So it really varies, and then they've tried to center it, and if you had like a wetland resource on one side that they didn't want to impact, the road center line was shifted over, so.
So if you were going to use this proposed shared use path 5 years from now, you're going to have to switch back and forth, and you're going to have to cross
It's all on the
28?
south side.
That's all on the
Well, that's
south
what,
side.
Saying that-
there's the confusion, because
The
I,
center line of the road
Yes.
is changing from what it is now.
I
at
understand,
different
okay,
locations.
but the path itself will stay on the south side.
Still stays
Okay,
on the south
sorry,
side.
I just wanted to make sure I understood it
Just
correctly.
that the center line may vary, so the
I
property
see.
line might be here, so then you need 10 here, but then they bring it back in and you only need 5 at this spot.
I see.
Or the right-of-way's wider there, so you don't need to take as much. So the amount of the strip taking is very individual. It can't just say it's a 5-foot strip or it's a 10-foot strip. It's very individualized.
So how is this affecting them, Peter, at
Their
the?
berm is gonna get pushed back, right?
Yeah, they're taking a bunch of, and they're gonna have to remove trees, and, yeah, they'll have to.
So their plan was to expand the berm?
So they're going, their plan, the design review, they said, well, they're gonna keep it consistent with the line of the berm now.
Okay.
And then when they have to, at their cost, they're gonna move the whole thing as far off this road as they have to. But their plan is to add another building as well. They're gonna add a building next to the existing, whatever's there,
Salties
on the other side.
on the other
They
side.
don't own the other side, the town owns that.
Well, no, on the other side of, closer to the
North.
entrance to the park.
Isn't there an old motel there?
I think they bought that motel, didn't they?
Yeah.
They own everything.
Own everything
yeah,
up
Almost
to-
down
way
to
the
Duncan's,
Cape-
almost
Cape-
down to Duncan's, but not quite. They don't own the nice motel. Austin, what's it called?
The Aiden,
The Aiden, right. But I think
Could
they
if he
own
would.
almost everything up to Aiden, right?
He might, yeah.
Or he
Who knows?
might.
You never know.
What, I know it's this off topic, but what is happening to to the old Mayflower and the properties that he does own? I thought those were gonna be demolished and,
They have a bunch of wide-ranging ideas and plans. I think they're waiting until sewer is a little bit more imminent
okay,
in order
Yep.
to make those
Makes sense.
changes.
yep.
Well, can I ask a follow-up question about the proposed town meeting
Yes,
article?
please.
So will it accomplish what you think it will accomplish? Meaning, there's one specific case that you're mentioning with the old Chinese restaurant, but do you anticipate if we do this now, it will sort of prevent more weird situations like this going forward? Or is this literally for only a zoning change for one
One
property?
parcel, yeah.
It's not for one property, it's for everyone in the VCOD,
Ah, okay.
right?
Okay.
Because this is, I guess the only, except for actually VC1, VC3, and VC4, because VC2 doesn't have
right.
that. They have a
So it
minimum.
would be a pretty broad,
It would be a
zoning
pretty broad
change.
swath.
yeah.
It's gonna be strictly tied, though, to the state road project. We're doing this because the state road project is going to make it difficult for,
them to
in other words, we're not gonna do this in perpetuity. It's tied to that particular length of 28 because of state intrusion into the town
I
property.
think it's more than just that length of Route 28, because they want to, there's actually a project initiated to go from Parker's River to the Bass River project. So at some point, you're going to see that happening all the way through the VCOD
You mean to the new bridge?
to the new bridge.
So your idea, Kathy, is just to provide a bit of relief, make it a little bit easier. It's not that they don't have to come back and ask for something, it just makes it a little easier.
Right. It
I mean-
puts a set of eyes on it to make sure that they're being kosher as to why they want this but in the same token, not making it so difficult of a variance when that's not what we want. We
Yeah.
don't want that.
Yeah.
I haven't given any thought about it, other than what I just said. I haven't talked to Mark about it. I briefly talked to Bob Rittenauer about it to see whether we still had the ability to get an article on annual town meeting, and he said, yes, you can do that. So I guess I wanted to talk with you guys. Is this something that you wanted to pursue? I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but we could talk about it some more with some better ideas on the 21st.
And if we didn't do anything, they would have to redesign? Is that what the issue would be?
They would have to redesign, or they would have to go for a variance and say it's a unique site
Why would a variance be difficult? I mean, if they have the unique,
It wouldn't be.
why would it be difficult?
It may
Why-
not be, but it's a huge unknown. It's a huge unknown. Special permit's bad enough with regard to an unknown. I almost would, like, if they said, well, we're not gonna change it, and we're not gonna wait, but they're renting out their property right now to dig it construction.
Right.
So that's gonna, for like, what, 2 years?
Right,
So
well,
they're
that-
not gonna start this project tomorrow.
Well, then why do you feel any pressure to have to do this
to
for
do
spring
anything
town
now.
meeting? Why can't we do it in the fall town meeting? Given that this circumstance is not really
Wanted to
pressing.
get it permitted so that he can maybe start getting some of his financing.
I appreciate that. I'm just saying that given the timeline you just educated us on, I would say, and I would suggest, Madam Chair, maybe you'll take counsel with our town planner, that if with all the other things that she has on her plate, that perhaps it doesn't need to be so soon. Perhaps it can be in the fall.
Well,
Just saying perhaps. Further discussion,
I
I'm sure.
haven't talked to the applicant about this. I just don't know how they would resolve the problem without a variance, which,
Or a special permit.
I'm not asking them not to resolve the problem. I'm just trying to be very mindful of your time
right. The
and
fall's
what's
gonna be-
reasonable and what's not reasonable.
The fall's gonna be hard with zoning anyway unto itself, because we have a lot of things that we need to talk about. If it's a simple thing where we're just giving a relief, and it's two changes. One of them to change it from variance to special permit relief, and then the other to be adding another item in the special permit criteria that's very specific to the VCOD that the zoning board of appeals would be looking at, of just taking into consideration when strip takings are taken.
Understood. Madam Chair, I'm sorry. I'm just being protective of our town planner's
I
time.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. I just don't want to lose an opportunity, or I just feel like we're making it so hard for them that.
They've done
We're
it.
not
They've
making
done a
it
great job.
I'm not disparaging their efforts at all. I'm just,
Yeah.
there's lots of things to consider and I
The
appreciate
state
you
made it, the
considering.
state made it hard. They knew the state was coming down the road.
And when people aren't aware, because they're like, no one's contacted me. I'm like, "What?"
Shocking.
So I did send an email to Tom Courier, who's the project manager at Mass DOT, just kind of asking for an update on the taking process and maybe some updated plans. The last right-of-way plans I have were from 2 years ago. So have they changed? I know they went from 8-foot wide Syracuse pathway to 10-foot. Did that impact that, or was that taken into consideration in the
Are
plan?
the two parks on 28 going to be impacted, do you know? Because one of them is they're supposed to be doing that connector park
Yeah,
that
I don't think
connects.
there's anything negative that's happening with that. Yeah. I
Do you think
they're
that's,
gonna be
they're going to be okay? They'll be safe.
They have to make some changes to Parkers River Landing entrance a little bit, but. So we can give it a try? Want to give it a try?
Yeah,
At least look at it.
No, I don't.
I mean,
I don't think we have to. but-
if you think you can do it and it's in the best interest to kind of do it quickly, get it, sounds like it's low-hanging fruit, Kathy.
Yeah, let me talk to Mark and let me talk to the owner.
Yeah, I just think,
Yeah.
Madam Chair, can I
Yes.
ask Kathy just one quick update? The old Sertan leather that's finally torn down, what is that going to be, or is it just that they finally tore it down?
No, I think Tim Kelly bought it, and I
Oh,
think his
okay.
first
What
precision.
got torn down, I'm sorry?
Remember the Sertan leather on Route 28 that burnt down about 5 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe longer?
They had some insurance issues that they were working
Right,
through.
I knew that.
But yeah, I think he's just going to rebuild it, and he's going to use it for his pool business.
Okay, great.
The last I heard.
And any update on the gas station physical therapy building there on Station Ave from
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell? Thank you. I was going to say Burger King, but I knew that wasn't
I
right.
was hoping we would come back and you would tell us it was not going to be a Taco Bell.
We sent some, did we send them some recommendations as far as
Yeah.
architectural? We,
Yeah.
No.
They were very open to getting some suggestions, in all fairness. And Sarah Porter, who's an architect, who's on the retired architect, but she's on the design review committee, and she worked up some sketches. I think it looks better. And we just forwarded it to them as a suggestion that you might want to make these changes. And it kind of changed the materials a little bit. It added a little bit of a better roof line, I thought. It looks better. They still need a variance, though, in my opinion, from, it's the same scenario as with the J-Mart, where they have a drive-through, and in the proximity to the residential zoning district and is within 100 feet. So they would need relief from that. And Mark has very consistently identified it as the travel lanes count as part of the drive-through system. It's not just the box.
No, it's everything.
And it's also it says to the zoning district line, not to like a residential home. And
Right.
technically, if you look at the map, the residential zoning district is on the north side of that.
Yeah, it's right across the street.
Yeah. Well,
Wasn't
it's
that the
actually
same
in
issue
the
with the
road.
J-Mart? That
Yeah.
back of the zone, and then, I thought that was the same,
Yeah, so they have, and they, like I said, they did this traffic study and indicated that
No
it was going to be
impact.
fine.
Oh, my God.
Everything's going to be fine.
See that.
This still has to go to the zoning board of appeals. I think they're going to look at it very, very closely. With regard to design review, we're advisory for commercial development south of 6. It's not part of our overlay districts, so I was glad that they were open to some suggestions. And I think the ZBA likes to see that someone has taken suggestions from other committees, like the design review committee and site plan review.
Kathy, what does your crystal ball say in terms of the timing of this project?
Taco Bell?
Yeah.
Oh, I think they're chomping at the bit to make some changes and submit it to
ZBA.
the ZBA.
So that means construction late spring.
Oh, I don't think that seems awfully fast.
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what their construction schedule is, but they'd have to get through the zoning board of appeals, then they'd have to go through the appeal period. Somebody may appeal it, like they did with the J-Mart, and that takes extra time to deal with that. But they need a variance, so, I don't know. They don't have the ability, to do the road like J-Mart did,
Right.
where they made it look really nice, and so it was special permit, not variance for them.
And it takes time to build stuff.
And it takes time to build stuff.
So, okay. Most likely not this summer.
No, I can't imagine.
Okay. Well, I have 85 camp counselors who are curious. They don't know it yet, but this is another potential late night option for them. As much as I am absolutely distraught, I'll just use that word.
It would be a
That it's
traffic
going in.
impact for sure.
I am distraught.
There's no way you can say it's not.
I'm distraught on many levels, but I also have a responsibility to my employees. Thank you. So then, summer 2027 it is. Thank you.
Any other, Kath, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I mentioned the 703, that's going to design review on January 13th, site plan review team on the 20th, and then to you guys to be determined. So that's another, you're going to get 2 VCOD projects probably in the next month or two for that. The hazard mitigation plan, the draft is out for public comment. You can look at it at www.yarmouth.ma.us/HMP. We are going, and that's open for public comment through January 21st. We are having a community meeting next Wednesday, January 14th at 6 p.m. here in the hearing room and remote to kind of present the draft and take public comment. And then we're going to go to the select board on February 3rd. Going to be a big meeting for things, February 3rd. Basically for the select board to authorize us and approve us to submit the plan to MEMA. It goes to MEMA, the local Massachusetts, and then they provide us comments. We kind of tweak it. They're trying to help us to get through FEMA, and then you submit it to FEMA. And once they approve it, you just have a formal approval of it.
I'm sorry, Kathy, what time is the public meeting?
It's at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, thanks.
Yep, please get the word out for that meeting. There's just, I think, Our last community meeting was not super well attended, so it'd be nice to get a little bit more people to attend. And then the last thing gets back to kind of what Will was talking about. What are we doing for the, and Peter had mentioned this, what are we doing for the next year? What are we working on? What are we working
I
on?
was wondering if the long-term comprehensive plan was gonna be,
Yeah, I need to get a letter to, apparently the letter needs to come from the town clerk saying they authorized the approval, so I need to draft that for her. That's on me, but then we need to have the public hearing. It's a victory dance. It's a little lap where we can say, great job, and they're gonna say, great job, but we gotta get it done, so it's definitely on there. We had talked about looking at design standards, not just in the architectural and site design standards, but also the design standards in the BCOD. When Mark and I have to go through a plan and go through everything that's listed in the VCOD for design standards, it's laborious. So it's laborious for developers and their designers if it's laborious for us. So I think that this is something where we need to take a look at that, and maybe also simplifying the whole process. This is not going to necessarily get done in a year, but I'm saying these are things that we need to get started on. We have some money left over from the LCP, and I believe that we might be able to get some money from the Affordable Housing Trust if we're talking about design standards and mixed use and housing and those types of things, because they were originally going to give some money for the original mixed use study that we did, but we ended up not needing that money. We're also going to have the Mattakey zoning that we're going to be working with. Hopefully, it'll probably be with BSC Group to look at an overlay district for that and how we might be able to looking at that. I don't know whether we want to start looking at a community planning grant. We had talked about rewriting some of the zoning. That may not be a this year thing, it may be a next year thing, but I got to check and kind of see what the timing is. These are all things I want to talk with Megan, the Director of Community Development with, kind of talk it through. And then we have, of course, the short-term rentals and then the accessory dwelling units. So there's a lot of things that are, it should be interesting. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. But at some point, maybe we should have, maybe kind of our goals, or what do we, I know that Will had talked about going backwards from town meeting, or special town meetings, kind of see what we need to do. So I think there's some gotta have dones, and then there's some things that we really would like to get done. And then there's probably some things that will bleed into next year anyway.
I think one of the things that, now that the comprehensive plan is then developed, there needs to be a sense of ownership of that. I know it's owned by many parties, but there also needs to be if not a person, a group that is the one who's checking to make sure that things are getting done. I don't know if that's
That's us.
is that us, or is that the town administrator?
It's us.
It is us?
I mean,
We are the administrators of the plan?
I think we are,
I mean, I know we're the primary owners of it.
Yeah, we're the owners of the
right.
plan.
I think if the way I was envisioning is, it's like, let's give it a year, and then we would check in with people. I mean, obviously, we have our tasks, but then checking in with people and saying,
Yeah.
where do you stand on these things? And if for some reason there seems to be a lot of delays and there's not a particular reason for it, you want to say to the town administration, we really feel like this should be moved forward up on the list, then you can ask that.
Yeah.
Because obviously, we're not the one, we can't tell someone to change your workload and put X above Y, because we think it's important. That's something that needs to be decided by the department heads and the town administrator and probably the Board of Selectmen.
All right, but I do think if that's the case, and we own it and we're the guardians of it, I think, that we should think about some kind of process where we have some kind of regular schedule of check-in where people either answer or they don't, but that we have a check-in calendar. And, is this still on your list, or has it dropped off? Something as simple as that to start. And I'm more than willing to work on what that might look like with all of you who are fellow bureaucrats, and I'm looking over here. Fellow bureaucrats. at the federal, state, and local level.
None over here.
I know, there are none over there.
I've noticed how you've arranged this seating chart,
And
Madam
Tom,
Chair.
too,
The matrix
federal
makes
level. Yeah,
things
something,
easier
the
because-
having the matrix be that living kind of document where it's a check-in
another
column. It's something simple.
Exactly.
And it's actually set
It's
up so
something
it's
very
easy
simple.
to do. Our report is set up very, so it's, that kind of work is very
I mean,
easy to
it's
do.
just a, use what we
Timelines, yes.
have. I don't want to create something
No.
that's all brand new, but use what we have and just have a calendar, a check-in calendar.
And we had it set up that way, like a periodic, we had timelines.
Yeah, but Peter raised some good questions, like what do we mean when we said 1 to 3 years? Yeah, what do we don't know what we,
Start it or finish it.
Yeah, exactly, so I think
We're going to start it in the second year of the 10-year plan, and we're going to finish
finish
it
it
by
by
the
3,
fourth year.
there you go, something like that.
2 to 4 years.
Okay, but I do think that should be on our agenda at some point.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea.
So and the town departments who own their projects.
Yep.
I mean, we don't own their projects, we own our zoning responsibilities. So they need to know that we're going to be the enforcers with a small e. The reporters, let me say that, we'll be the reporters.
That's
We'll
a
be
good
the
way to put it.
reporters.
I do think that that's a case where the town administrator could help us with regard to getting responses. Some people are super good about responding, and I appreciate their efforts. I think it's like you get what you give, so if I respond and answer their questions, they respond and answer my questions.
Is there a regulatory requirement of reporting back to the commission?
Yes,
On
annually.
status, annually?
Yes, so we have to do it regardless.
So, but it's the same thing with the hazard mitigation plan. We ended up only doing that once, but that was much fewer. There was 30 mitigation actions total. There's so many more in the LCP.
Okay, all right. Okay, I think we've covered enough. Anything else from members of the board? Okay, may I have a motion? Oh, we need upcoming meetings, Kath, right? We've got the 21st, the 4th, and the 18th, and we know we're going to have some VCODs.
Madam
And,
Chair, for the 18th, just at school vacation week, I will not be here.
okay,
Just in case we have any public hearings or you need to.
Votes or anything.
I'm not in school, Tom, but I appreciate you looking at me like, why are you on vacation? But Tom looked at me like, so what? Tom looked at me like, what do you mean? Nor am I a school employee, but yet I have a child.
Jeff Child.
We probably will also have another A&R for the King's Way that got voted on, that land. They need an A&R to subdivide that off for conservation restriction. It was approved at town meeting, a special town meeting. So we have that, the VCOD. So there's actually some business, and then we have the continued definitive subdivision. So there's
Yeah.
an uptick in business items, which is a little different.
okay,
I'm
All
glad
right.
they waited till after the LCP.
yeah. So may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.